What if a gas and heating business wasn't just about fixing boilers, but about building careers, supporting families and creating a company where people genuinely look out for one another? Welcome to the Kent Business Show. I'm your host, Rachael Bryant, where we share the stories behind the businesses powering Kent. In this episode, I sit down with Dave from Clarke's Gas Services, an award-winning family-run business focused on delivering trusted heating and gas services while putting people at the heart of everything they do. Dave shares the journey behind Clarke's Gas Services, from starting out on his own and working long hours to growing a dedicated team and building a business designed to support both customers and employees. We explore the realities of growing a service-based business, the mindset shift of building a team, and how investing in people help to unlock the next stage of growth. We also dive into the culture behind the business, a genuine family ethos where team members prioritise their families, support one another, and develop their careers through apprenticeships and training, helping tackle the skills shortage in the industry. Alongside this, we discuss their maintenance plans designed to help customers manage rising costs, their award-winning customer service, and their vision for continued growth. So whether you're a Kent business owner, interested in growing a service-based business, or looking for inspiration from a company built on strong values, this episode is packed with insight. Let's get into it.
Kent is powered by business, and every business has a story. Join your host, Rachael Bryant, on the Kent Business Show as she meets the businesses powering Kent, sharing their journeys, their experiences, and what they've learned along the way. A real conversation with real people, giving you real inspiration. This is the Kent Business Show, powered by your video team.
Well, Dave, welcome to the studio. Thank you so much for joining me.
That's all right. You're very welcome. Apologies for the state that I'm dressed in. I would have got changed for this because this is like awesome. But I actually ended up having to service an old warmer unit this morning, so I didn't get a chance to get changed. So.
Business reality, right? I mean, this is what we're here for, so I'm down with it.
Yeah, that's good. It's good. But yeah, that's it. Sometimes I'm in the office, sometimes I'm out in the field.
Incredible. So, I mean, that's what we're going to talk about today, is your journey, how you've got into Clarke's Gas Services, what made you do this rather than be employed. So tell us about, I mean, I feel like it says the name on the tin, but what is Clarke's Gas Services?
Clarke's Gas Services is a company that I started out back in 2011. And basically I just wanted to set out the goal of what we were going to do, which was we're going to do gas appliances, domestic gas repairs to central heating systems. And one of the things I'm really passionate about is doing the job properly the first time.
Yes.
There's no point trying to cut corners or anything like that. And that's really one of the reasons why I sort of got into it. I was so fed up when I was working for people. I was constantly going around sorting out other people's mistakes, dealing with complaints, and I was just like, there has got to be a better way of doing it.
So prior to starting up your own business, was you in the same industry or?
I've done this since high school.
Oh really?
Yeah,
That's cool.
So it's now 26 years that I've been in the plumbing and heating industry.
Never.
Yeah.
Fair play. Although when people say to us about like, how long have you been in video, and I sort of go, 13 years. Okay, that was a bit longer. I only left school like 15 years ago. I'm sure I did.
Yeah, 2000 I left school.
Oh, okay. I'm not commenting. I'm afraid. I'll say you before we started. So you've done it since you left school.
Yeah.
And was it the breakaway from being employed and seeing everyone else's mistakes, you thought, why am I fixing mistakes when actually I could just give people the right thing? And that's what put you into self-employment?
Yeah, exactly that. It was just a case of, I'm completely fed up with doing all of this for someone else, so I'll do it for myself and I'll do the job properly.
So how have you seen the industry evolve in the last 26 years then?
Well, we've had boilers themselves change from being sort of standard efficiency to condensing, And people will get confused about condensing boilers. They think it's a combination boiler. It's not.
Okay.
So it's just purely the way we burn gas to get the most out of it, to make it super efficient.
Okay.
We've got boilers as efficient as they're going to be, so they're not going to go any further than that. And now it's down to controls. So how can we effectively use that heat that we're generating and distribute it around our homes? The other change, which has been pretty massive, has been the sort of bringing on of renewable technology, such as heat pumps. The way that heat pumps are now so much better than what they were 10, 15 years ago. And it's not new technology, but it's technology that has been developed to a point now where they can compete with a domestic gas boiler.
It's really funny, isn't it? Because like I get oblivious to how much gas we actually also use in our house. So we do have a gas hob. So like when we have the calls saying we've got to do a gas check certificate, I'm like, oh yeah, I've only got that, and they're like, we've got to look at your boiler too. I'm like, why? That's plugged in at the wall. That's electric. So I have no concept of actually how gas is in my house.
Yeah, it's quite scary, really. And you're not the only one.
Oh, good.
There are so many people out there that they don't understand, about gas, how much gas we use, and how much people take it for granted. It's a white box as such that's usually tucked away in the cupboard in the corner of the kitchen. It comes on, you get hot water out of your taps, you're nice, cosy and warm. Why do I worry about it?
Yeah.
And and it sits there, and quite often it doesn't get touched year on year, especially people who own their own properties. They sit there and they just go, yeah, it's fine.
Well, yeah, because I'm in rented, so obviously we have to have ours checked. But standard-wise, like I wouldn't have thought to do that if I owned a property. Can I still just book that in yearly? Should I be booking that in yearly?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And there's a big difference as well between having a gas safety check and having a boiler service. There are two massive differences. And the best analogy I can say for that is you take your car, for instance. You've got an MOT test to make sure that it's roadworthy, but you wouldn't call that a service.
No.
Because it's completely different.
Got you.
And that's the same with the gas safety check is your MOT. That's saying that your gas system in your home, or your gas pipes, your appliances and that lot are working safely. But they've done nothing to make sure that it's working efficiently or reliably. And that's where your service comes in, which is a slight difference to your gas safety checks. And so many people just do not. I mean, the warm air unit that I'm currently wearing, because it was so minging, is really the best way to say it. She moved into the property 3 years ago and hadn't had it checked. Literally hadn't had it checked. And this is a 40-year-old appliance that should have bits cleaned off and dusted off and that. And she'd not done anything. When I highlighted what she was doing, which all she was doing was trying to keep herself warm, she was actually putting herself and her family at risk of carbon monoxide poisoning at the end of the day. And that's things like she was blocking up her air vents, she hadn't cleaned the filters out, so it was a good job really that she called us in.
So are those jobs people can do themselves, or realistically is that something that you'd say, don't touch it, you're better off getting?
So specifically with the warm air side of things, I mean, generally speaking, if a gas appliance has a vent in the wall dedicated to the appliance, don't block it.
No. I mean, it almost sounds like common sense, but I'm sure there are some things we all know what that's like.
The amount of times you know when you're going around and doing your checks and you can see that there's a padded bit of paper that's covered in sort of plastic and it's sort of on the floor right next to where the air vent is. You go. So on windy days that gets covered up. You just know it. But in terms of in terms of saying something about that, if you think of an air vent is your mouth for the boiler, you cover your air vent up and the boiler can't breathe. But the boiler doesn't have any sensors on it, especially the older ones that rely on the air vent. They don't have any sensors on it to say where the air is coming from. So effectively it starts taking your air. So the air that you want to breathe, it is now going to take. And it's going to carry on doing whatever it wants to do to a point where it starts producing all the wrong gases that are distributed in all the wrong places.
Wow,
So
that's really. I'm thinking, right, I'm going to have and check it. I know we haven't covered it, I'm like, right, I don't know, because this is the thing, right? Until you get told it, you don't know it, and this isn't something that gets taught in school or college. You hope mum and dad learn it and pass it on, but normally it's not until the problem occurs that you learn it.
The best bit of advice I can give anyone, especially for, if I could go back and talk to her before she bought her place, is as soon as you move in, have your appliances checked and have them explained to you. If I'd have gone round there soon, a week after she'd moved in, I could explain, don't cover those vents up because they're there for your boilers to breathe properly. This filter here you need to hoover out once a week because it's going to get covered in dust. And call us in once a year to do a service on it.
Amazing. So when it comes to, like, you've spoken about how obviously what it can do is end up causing the carbon monoxide side of things. Funnily enough, this conversation came up with my landlord and my parents recently as to where a carbon monoxide alarm should be and potentially how many you should have as well. So the debate was high or low and whether the gas should, and whether it should be in the room, out the room, whether you should have more than one around the house. So what's your advice on that side?
So all carbon monoxide alarms have instructions inside them, so read them, because some will say you can go up really high, others can go, we want to go really low. There's a British standard that they should all be produced to, and they would typically last between 7 and 10 years. Now, how many you need depends on how many appliances you have. So if you've got a boiler, gas fire and a cooker, if you've got your boiler and your gas cooker in the same room, you don't want one. And then for your gas fire, you want another one. But it's not just gas appliances that can produce carbon monoxide. You've got anything that burns a carbon-based fuel. So wood burning stoves, you've got a nice wood burning stove or open fire, carbon monoxide alarm. An oil boiler that's burning, because we're also off-tech registered, so we do oil as well. But oil boilers, they need carbon monoxide alarms for them, and it should be for every single room. Generally speaking, you're probably looking at around about 1.5 metres high. You want them away from your windows and away from your doors, and typically the best place for them is the worst place for them. So the best place for them for safety is sort of bang smack in the middle of the wall, sitting up there, and people are going, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, no, I want safety, but I don't want to look at the safety.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. I mean, I feel like I could pick your brains just for my own benefit. Just learn all about my boiler system. So, I mean, we are here on, obviously, the Kent Business Show. What is it that drives you in business? Is it truly just making sure it's done right? Is there anything else that kind of fuels your business?
That fuels my business. It's a really good question. I suppose really it is just getting that job done properly. Not cutting corners, being absolutely honest with our customers. Even if it's not good news. Just not trying to brush it under the carpet or anything like that. Just being utmost honest and go, right, okay, this is what we've got to deal with. This is the solution. Let's work out where we can go from there. I suppose the other one as well is I am truly passionate about our environment and the world that we live in. I have in our office. It just sort of come into my mind there. In my office, we've got a box for our batteries, and we have a person that comes in every now and then. We give them a call, and they come in. They collect all of our batteries to take them away for recycling. So that's all. All the room thermostats that we go out, and they've got low batteries. We change them, bring the batteries back to the office, and they can then be recycled responsibly. We've got recycling bins out the back, so that we can split all of our rubbish up. We can recycle. Obviously, the scraps get sent off to the scrapyard, but taking all your cardboards away, different plastics, and just splitting all of that lot up so that we can try and look after the environment that that we're working in.
Yeah, I mean that's huge as well, because from like you say, you come into our property, fit some new alarms for us, do some bits on the boiler, like new packaging. It might even be a full new boiler, so there's going to be loads of packaging. The last thing I want as the house owner at that point then is going, well, what do I do with all the old boiler, the old this, all the new packaging, like what do I need to keep, what don't I? Whereas the fact that you then not only clear it and take it away, which is great, but then responsibly get rid of it, that's huge as well.
Yeah. No, we do. It is, and it's just something that I'm passionate about, and that goes inside with the sort of move into air source heat pumps and pushing for better controls for people, so that we can, make people much more comfortable. And it shouldn't be a case of forcing people to adopt technology that's not right for them, because that's just incorrect and irresponsible. But it's picking controls and devices that actually help people to live much more comfortably and within their means, without having bills that are tearing through the roof, things like that.
And this is it, isn't it? It's like in the economy that the world is in, and like when it feels hard, actually having the best tool that in longevity is going to save you money. It might not feel it in that immediate moment, but actually in the long run, it can support not only the sort of saving of money, but we are talking, this isn't just fun, this is safety as well here. They're all key, and knowing how to use those tools as well in your house is essential as well. Yeah.
And I think this is, you're highlighting one of the key challenges with specifically the heat pump issues. You hear media going all the time how expensive heat pumps are. There are incentives out there that the government can help, provide, and we can help with that with regards to the boiler upgrade scheme. And that's £7,500 towards the cost of your heat pump installation. But people are still put off by that initial outlay at the start, and it is very difficult to sort of help people to see past that. Moving forwards, there's going to be a big shift within the industry, and it's something that has been whispering along in the background that not a lot of people are actually reporting on. But the government and the industry are going to move away from natural gas. So back in the 70s, we changed from town gas to natural gas.
Okay.
So town gas is a gas that was made from coal.
Okay,
coal
that
mines.
was my next question. I was like, okay, where are we at? What's town gas? I was like...
Town gas was a very toxic gas, had carbon monoxide in it already, so completely unsafe. And then we found the North Sea gas fields and oil fields and that, so we then started bringing natural gas in. We swapped over in the 70s to natural gas. Moving forwards into the future, we're going to be moving over to hydrogen.
Right. So
hydrogen, gas in itself is a hydrocarbon, so the combustion process doesn't really change that much. All that we're doing is taking the carbon in. Now, hydrogen can be produced from various different sources, but that's going to be the move in the future to do that. One of the reasons why our electricity is so high at the moment is because natural gas fuels 30 to 50% of our electricity.
Oh.
So our electricity, it gets affected by the wholesale price of gas.
Yeah.
As we bring in more renewable technology, solar farms, wind farms and that, and we reduce our reliance on natural gas, we're going to see a shift where electricity prices are going to plummet and gas prices are going to go through the roof. So when we start using electricity to then produce your hydrogen, that's when your elevation in costs are going to come in. And the heat pump owners that are relying on electricity to power their homes are going, we're sitting pretty.
Yeah, told you that.
That's it. And everyone else who's on a gas boiler are going to have something converted in their appliance, or their appliance is changed, and they're going to be paying elevated costs for their fuel.
Wow, and how quickly are we looking to see that starting to come in?
That's
just preparing for myself.
That's the part where I don't know. We could be looking at 5, 10 years time. We could be looking at 20 years time.
But these things just happen, don't they? That's the problem. Like, it does feel like there's these rumblings. Like, right, tomorrow you need to have this, and we're all like, Oh no!
Well, that's it. And Northern Gas. So they're the sort of distributors for the gas network. They've actually got they call it Hydrogen Street, and they've got a couple of test houses where they're already running 100% hydrogen in gas appliances, gas boilers, gas fires, gas cookers, and they're testing it and seeing what safety measurements that are going on. I think last time I looked as well, there was over 138 research projects in the UK alone for hydrogen and hydrogen fuel for development. There was a talk of having a village converted into hydrogen because of safety fears and that the residents went, no. But over in Holland have made some fantastic changes, and they've actually got a village already on hydrogen, running 100% hydrogen, completely safe, not an issue at all.
Isn't it funny how we can see it happening? Holland are doing it, and then we all go, oh no, I'm a bit scared, and but they're literally doing it over there, just adopt.
I think that's the British way. Yeah. Oh no, don't trust it. No, it's new.
Prove it. Okay, we have over here. No, but you didn't prove it here.
Yeah, that's it.
Fascinating. I mean, I am blown away by the knowledge that you have in this. Is that knowledge from just having done 20 years in the industry, or when you go to school, do you learn that? Or are you forever teaching yourself as well? Do you go out and find this information yourself?
Yeah, every day's a school day. That's sort of one of my mottos. There's also another motto that I have, which I try and share with my team as well, which is called RTFM. But I won't shorten that because it swears.
Okay.
So it's read the manual.
Oh, okay, yeah, no.
Yeah. So it's just a case of, come on guys, let's just, read. Educate yourself. And I think that's one of the key issues is I have got a keen interest in the environment, in the industry that I'm in. And I do like to sort of find these things out and listen to what's going on with the industry and learning what's going on. So I think it helps me to give people a much more balanced view on what's going on and where the future's going.
Well, it's it's made something that I have no knowledge at all in. Like I said to you, I think I've got I've got a gas hob, and there's a white box, like we say, in the back of the room, in the kitchen that sometimes I yell at. And if I've not got hot water, I'm like, the blue light's not on, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I have no knowledge. But I'm genuinely sat here, and I hope the audience are as well, going, oh, okay, so what can I do? How can I be ready for that shift, for those changes? What can I learn now that's going to just support the household I'm in now as well? Yeah. It's really fascinating.
I think in terms of basics, it's just annual servicing. Just get a decent heating engineer in that's going to take the time to do the service properly, going to do the tests properly, and give you a decent report and breakdown of what you've got, what things you can go forwards with, what things we can help you with in terms of reducing breakdowns, improving reliability and efficiency. One of the things that we do when we carry out an annual service is we carry out a water sample test of the water that's going around the radiators. Oh. And we've seen, since we started doing this 3 years ago, we've seen a massive drop in our contract customers in terms of their breakdowns. So what a water sample test tells us, it tells us whether the system is clean, whether it's dirty, and whether it's got the right inhibitors in. And I realise this is probably going, whoosh, I haven't got a clue what you're talking about.
I'm now sitting there thinking, well, I don't think we've ever had our radiators bled. Is that a bad thing? Do I need to do how do I book you? I'll phone my landlord later tonight and be like, you need to speak to Dave.
Yeah. So one of the most critical things in terms of the central heating system is the water that's being pumped around it. What we like to see is nice, clear, clean water. Because nice, clean, clear water is easier to pump around, and it transfers heat effectively around all the heating emitters and the boiler. If it starts becoming dirty, it becomes heavier and has like silt in it that then builds up in terms of the internal pipework. A bit like cholesterol in a human, you can get the same in the pipework in the heating system. So we start building that up and it starts narrowing the waterways, and then the pump starts getting heavy deposits inside it. It wears the pump out. Your 3-port valve or diverter valve starts letting by and starts leaking internally, so bits don't work. If you've got a combination boiler, you'll end up with a plate heat exchanger that half of the bits start filling up with this debris that they can't shift. So just having a basic check on the inhibitor levels and ensuring that those inhibitor levels are up to date and up to spec, it's going to help lubricate the valves, lubricate the pump, and keep all the seals intact. So it's just a simple check. I mean, the value of that is about £40, just having that check done, and we include that in our annual service.
And it just proof again that what you've said about wanting the best for your clients is true, because ultimately you could leave that, I say deliberately, or not include it, and then one day they phone and be like, oh, my radiator's not working. You go, oh, okay, yeah, we'll come and have a look at that. This is going to cost you this much. Whereas actually, you're looking at preventative over that, and kind of doing yourself out of work. But for all the right, but for all the right reasons that feel ethical to you and that sit right, that actually probably also brings you in more work, because people are like, well, why am I going to pay for someone who's deliberately taking my money when I don't need to, when I've got someone who can prevent the problems from happening in the first place?
Yeah.
Incredible. You touched on having a team.
Yes.
I'm interested to find out how you went from the decision to start the business to then grow it, having a team. But before we dive into that, we're going to jump over to our sponsor and we'll come back to that after the break. So thank you very much.
This podcast episode was produced by your video team and recorded right here at YVT Studios. We're a full-service content studio helping coaches, creators, and business owners turn conversations into content that connects. Need a professional space to film your podcast? We've got it. Want someone to handle the filming, editing, and strategy? That's what we do best. Looking to walk away with months of high-quality video content, all filmed in one day? Book a VIP content day. Whether you're hands-on or hands-off, we'll guide you through the process, keeping it simple, stress-free, and seriously effective. It starts with a conversation. We turn that conversation into content, and that content builds your brand. Your video team, making you the hero of your brand.
Welcome back to the Kent Business Show. I'm still here with Dave from Clarke's Gas Services. We've got the bickies ready and a refresh on drinks. Ready for round two?
Absolutely. Thank you.
So just before the break, we were about to dive into how far you've come from deciding to start your own business to now you talk about a team as well. So was that an immediate decision, or?
It was I've got too busy, I need help.
Okay.
So it started off, I was talking to, so my first employee was a lovely lady called Joy. And she embodied that name. She was absolutely a delight to work with. And we were talking, and I said, I'm just too busy with taking phone calls and booking people in and doing that. And she just said, well, I'm a little bit, stuck for work. I've retired. I used to be a legal secretary, but I haven't really got much to do. Please consider me. And so for about a day, I thought about it, and then I was like, yeah, okay, I'll take her up. So she was my first employee. She worked for me 3 days a week, and she worked from home. I set her up with a laptop. We had at that time we already had VoIP phones. I mean, this is back in 2000. A VoIP phone.
What's that?
Voice over Internet Protocol.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, internet phones. That's what everyone's moving to now.
Okay then.
It's what most phone systems are there. But so we set up. I mean, this is back in 2015.
Yeah.
And so she sat at home and she'd work for me 3 days a week, pick the phone up, put people in, and start that bit off. So that then got a little bit busy. Then I needed someone else who could do installations, and that's when Adrian joined me. He's a cracking bloke. He was really worked hard, knew his stuff. So he worked with me for about 5 years.
Yeah.
I had a couple of people come and go, and they weren't the right fit for the business, so they ended up moving on. Sadly, Adrian also moved on, so he was greatly missed. But the team I have now, we have James, David, and Ben. So 2 breakdown guys, which are James and David. Ben's the installer. We have an apprentice called Pete. So I think it's quite important to sort of help new blood come into the business and into the industry itself.
Yeah.
So we have, and that's our team out in the field. In the office, we've got Jack and we've got Claire now.
Amazing.
So they work up in Bogdale Farm, sitting there taking deliveries in and basically just being a fantastic asset.
And allowing you to still be in it and doing what you started and what you love, right? This is, before we came on camera, I was talking about how you grow the business and are you in it? Are you on it? Where do you want to be? And that's hard, isn't it? When you start a business, you're in it.
When you start a business, especially sort of a business like this, you are your finance, your marketing, your telesales, you're the engineer, your invoicing, your credit control. You're doing all this and a lot of other stuff. And you don't realise you're doing it all. You just think you're busy. I mean, I was busy. I mean, going right at the start of it, I was a stranger to my wife and my kids. I was getting up at 5, and I still get up at 5 in the morning. Creature of habit.
There's a 5 in the morning?
Yeah, there is. So I get up at 5 in the morning, but at that time I was getting up at 5 in the morning, doing a couple of hours computer work, stepping out the door at 7. You take a winter month, and I'll be out the door at 7. I'll pop back in at about 5, between 5 and 6 in the evening, have my dinner, go back out to work. I get home sort of from breakdowns from about 9:30, 10 o'clock, sit at the computer until about midnight, and then go to sleep for 5 hours, and then get back up again.
Wow.
And that was just because I didn't have a team. I was doing everything on my own. And I dropped so many balls, it was ridiculous.
So when you first took Joy on and said, okay, I'm going to do this, what difference did it make just at that point alone?
I was suddenly able to win more work. It was almost like this sort of light bulb thing. It's like, oh, hang on a minute, I don't need to take these phone calls. I don't need to waste my time there because I've got someone else doing it.
People I've spoken to about this, they seem to, it's that weird, it is a mindset shift you have to change, you have to have.
Yeah.
But you take on one person, but it actually allows you to take on twice as much work.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a strange, you kind of go, I don't understand, hang on, all I've done is free up one person's worth of work, but you haven't because of all the other bits that were just there. Because you weren't just picking up the phone, you were then checking the diary, you were then doing the invoice for that person, you were then, whereas Joy, I'm sure, took on all those additional roles as well.
Yeah.
It really does change the trajectory of the business.
It does, and then taking Adrian on helped with sort of coping with the scope and increasing that side of things. And then eventually so at that point we were working out from my garage. So the back of my garage was our stock room, and the front of my garage was a tiny little office for me. And then Joy worked from her home. And then probably 2018, we took on the unit up at Bogdale Farm. So that meant that we could then clear everything out of my garage. I could get my garage back. But we could have a better storeroom for materials coming in, specialist tools that we need, and equipment that way, and an office space for Joy at the time to work in. And then of course we had COVID.
Oh yeah, that friendly thing. Yeah.
We didn't close. We didn't stop. We had Adrian had 1 month off, but I didn't stop. So we were already taking on safety protocols anyway. We used to always wear gloves when we're working in people's properties anyway. So that basic hand hygiene, changing your gloves every job and things like that, meant that both Adrian and myself didn't get ill as often. So all we needed to do to carry on working was put a mask on.
it was not a big thing, difference for you guys.
So it wasn't a major difference, and we were classed as key workers because we needed to go in and make sure people's hot water was ready so that they could stay clean. So we constantly worked, which is fantastic, really. And then from there we sort of just flourished, sort of from that point of view, and that's when we sort of took on more team members and the dynamics changed, and now I'm at the point where I shouldn't be on the coalface and working on the tools. I should be in the office working on the strategy and bringing new customers in, which is now how condensed my role has become. But every now and then there's a job that only I can do. And at the end of the day, I kind of enjoy it.
It's nice to just double back in the field every now and then.
Yeah, that's it.
And is that what you want? Because again, I meet so many different businesses. Some people are like, I have no intention to grow. I'm quite happy juggling all those balls and just running a business that supports the lifestyle I want.
Yeah.
As soon as you take on a team, you've got to support the lifestyle you want whilst also supporting employees.
Yeah.
Do you want to continue to grow? What do you see as your future for Clarke?
I'd love to see us grow. In terms of my role in the business and that, it's got to a point where I'm sometimes on the tools and I'm sometimes off the tool. I would like to get my business to a point where I am solely off the tools, unless I decide to do it.
Yeah.
I'd like to be able to be one of those people that can sort of dip into the various different parts of the business when I want to, but actually my team pretty much do everything. And I just need to understand how to get there, really, eventually. Which I will get there, absolutely. And yeah, it's growing the team to, I'd like to say about 20 engineers.
Okay.
And with the use of computers and AI, I don't see that being unreasonable. There are certain things that I'm certainly a believer that technology can be utilised for good, and taken advantage of, rather than becoming a slave to technology. Yeah.
When it's used right? It's great power comes great responsibility. Use the power the right way, and you're fine. And we talk about this example a lot, and we say that when gunpowder was first invented, it was never intended for the use it. We seem to see it as a weapon now. It was for fireworks, which were wonderful things and things like that. So the whole use of AI is, we just need to remember the reason we want it to be used in that sense. And I suppose in your business, actually, you're quite fortunate. There aren't robots coming to take over and come in my house and change my boiler for me, so I am okay there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there are, technology would struggle to do the tasks that we do as a manual task. I think there's certain things that they would be able to do, but certainly not to the depth that we can get in there.
I mean, with that in mind, and thinking about the future again a little bit more, these sorts of roles, the more manual roles, are great for our children and things too. I always remember my mum and dad saying to me, learn a skill, learn something no one can ever take away from you. And actually having that is a huge thing, because you say you've got about apprentices and things like that. I mean, you're opening doors for the future that nothing can take that away from them.
Yeah, and actually the heating industry and the construction industry really does have a shortfall of qualified people. And less are coming into the industry, and we're getting old. At the end of the day,
reminding me.
we are, we're getting old, and there's more people leaving the industry than coming into it.
So it is about filling that next role and that next rotation and stuff. And again, you're modernising your industry with the fact you are still thinking about the future and how you can better it, and that which a lot of the younger generation now are going, oh, hang on, this is our planet, this is it. So actually, by still being able to walk into a manual job whilst thinking that, you're creating the perfect role for them.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. You've grown the team. Something that you offer actually within your services is is maintenance plans, because again, we spoke earlier about the cost of living and things like that. Having that plan where you're just paying a small monthly fee just feels more manageable in this world.
Yes, with rising costs, and actually you mentioned about being manageable, and that's the whole ethos of how the Clarke's Club, we call it Clarke's Club, how Clarke's Club started. It all started off with a client of ours who come to me and went, I understand what you're saying about servicing, I just can't afford it. I just can't afford that, that annual service fee. I said, okay, so what can you afford? Well, I can afford to do this monthly. And that's how we started off. We started off literally just offering an annual service at a monthly direct debit, basically, to us. But I'm someone that likes to give a little back. It's a case of, well, if they're going to pay by that, what can we do for them? And that's when we started doing the priority attendance.
Yeah.
So the priority attendance basically means that if they're on contract, they bump the queue. They get in front of everyone else. So if we've got a long list of people, I've seen it this last winter where people aren't on contract, we're like, sorry, we're going to have to push it back to tomorrow. We've got people that we're obligated to turn up for.
That's huge. And we all want to be front of the queue, right? We've all got the problem yesterday that we need fixing today.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that in mind, because obviously having a subscription is great, how is it that 11 months down the line I think, oh, what am I paying for again? Or even 6 months I think, oh, why am I paying into this club? Is there stuff that's happening throughout their membership with you as well?
So, depending on the level of cover that you take on with us, depends on what we cover. We try to create something that caters for the majority, for most people. So we've got our bronze, silver and gold, is what we call it. Bronze being our service only plan, that's our entry level that we started many years ago. Our silver plan is where we take an appliance itself and we look after that appliance. So ideal for combination boilers, because we look after everything that's inside that box. But again, I wanted to say, well, what else can we add to that? So we cover the electronic controls as well, so the timer and the room thermostat. So we bundle that in. And that includes your annual service and your water test. So all of that's included. We will ring you up, we will remind you that you need your service. You'll get a text message when we're on our way to you. You can track our engineer and see where he's going. So that's everyone gets that, the tracking. That is a standard in business. And then we've got our gold, where we cover everything. But one of the things that with the cover plan I was very keen to explore was how I could cover more. What could I do that others aren't? And that's when I created the bolt-ons. So we've got bolt-ons onto our plans where we can go, right, okay, so you're actually on oil. So you've got a kerosene burning oil boiler. If you want to come onto Clarke's Club, but it costs a little bit more to do, we've got a bolt-on for that. So we've got an off-grid supply, an off-grid bolt-on. You have that with us, and it covers the appliances you would.
It's still part of the club. It's just because of the cost of having that oil, which is normal for anyone who's on that anyway. They'll always be paying a higher thing. It's just you again split it into that monthly thing. Yeah,
and then we've got LPG. So off-grid. We call it an off-grid bolt-on because LPG is also something you need to have extra tools and qualifications and knowledge for. So we've got an off-grid bolt-on, which would be either for your oil or your LPG. We've then got another bolt-on for just a hot water cylinder. But it's not just any hot water cylinder.
Oh, okay.
So there is a type of hot water cylinder that actually needs servicing. Because it has safety devices on it, pressure reducing valves, expansion vessels, and all those other bits that need to be maintained in an effective manner. Otherwise, you're either going to have serious water damage or worse. So again, we've got a bolt-on for that. So we can then create that. And then, aside from that, we then decided to have a look at it and we went, hang on a minute. We did this as a sort of a test to see what was going on, and then we opened it up. But basically, if you've got a new boiler, that's on a guarantee from the manufacturers. But what about the rest of your system? So we offer a plan, we call it a system plan, So if your boiler's under warranty, it doesn't matter whether we've installed it or not, but if it's under warranty, we've got a plan that will then cover the rest of the system. We'll still service the boiler so that we can maintain the manufacturer's warranty. So if anything goes wrong, you're covered, whether it be your boiler or your heating system.
Oh, really? Wow.
So we try to cover as many people and help as many people out.
And this is huge, isn't it? Is that, again, from everything you've explained to me today as well, and you've really put it in a way I'm like, I kind of get it. And I'm not going to now try and touch my boiler and figure anything out. But immediately I'm like, okay, so if I have a question, you're who I'm going to call. And by being on that membership, I'm absolutely going to feel more comfortable rather than just be like, hi. I'm going to be like, hey, right, so I'm on this membership and I've got this question. Can you support me? Like, what do I need to do? I can imagine the sort of support they do get back, your clients get back and things like that is huge.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Which leads me into these beautiful awards and trophy. Where's the trophy? Oh,
It's up behind me.
It's been moved like 3 times whilst we were setting up the studio today, and I'm like, where's it gone now? So, I mean, these congratulations. So 2024, you won.
So we won best construction business in Canterbury.
Amazing.
And we were shortlisted and finalists for best customer service, and we were pipped at the post for best customer service.
You came second, right?
Yeah.
That's what we said.
And again, that's just a testament to the hard work my team have put in to help support the clients and the business.
And then 2025, you got best family business.
Best family business.
And best construction again.
Yep. Both as finalists. And I say yes.
Which is huge in itself because of the amount of people that enter the awards. So I think you get down to about 5. I don't even think the construction was that high.
No, I think the construction was 3.
There was about 3 in that one. So a huge win anyway,
yes.
Really. And again, came second, right? That's what we said everyone. So why family then? What is it?
Twofold. When we started Clarke's Gas Services, it was me and my wife.
Okay.
And we set it up. She would help doing the bookkeeping side of things because me and money don't
you have
go.
skills, right? And
Yeah. Mine are manual. So she often helped, with the accounting side of things and that, and supported me. But it's also the part of the culture within the business is it's a family business. You join Clarke's Gas Services, you join a family. It was something that James said to me. He was like, I'm always missing out on seeing my kids do sports day and that. And I was just like, why are you missing out? Well, I'm working. I said, take the afternoon off. Go to your sports day. What more could you want to do? Don't be at work. You're not going to concentrate at work. You want to go and have that treasured memories with your young ones. And that's something that I try and say to my team. Family come first. If you need to be there for your family, be there for your family. We'll sort the rest of the business out. I'll either jump in my van and come out and do your work or what. Family comes first at the end of the day for me. It's just what I believe in.
And the thing is, when you're running a business, it is really hard to be able to truly manage that side of things because you are running a business. You have to make ends meet. It's not even about making money. It's about, you want me to pay your wages and I need to make money. How do we? But also, there's no denying that they just work that bit harder because they're not resenting the business.
Yeah.
So, like you say, is James not being able to go to a sports day for an afternoon. He's annoyed, he's working frustrated, the morning building up.
Yeah.
Then on that day, probably a couple of days before and after. And it's a week's worth of work that isn't done to the quality it could be. When actually to think, I've got half a day off here, that those 4.5 days are great because he's not bothered because he's got his day off. And then something comes up like, guys, in the group chat, guys, there's been an emergency come up, can anyone grab it? He's like, I had a day off, I'll jump to that. And actually you find that the productivity works it's 20% above
Yeah.
rather than 80% below. It's huge.
Yeah, and my team really do look out for each other. You know, they've got each other's backs. They're constantly trying to help each other. You know, I mean, it's just today, as an example, James was like, "Oh, I need this specific part." He's in the office. I was only in the office for 5 minutes before I had to shoot out to come here and do that. And I was like, "Well, I've got that part." Okay, so I run it over to him before coming here, and it's that sort of thing where we've got that support, and that communication, and that family ethos. We are sort of just looking after each other. And another point I just want to make: our apprentice Pete, he's had he's got an interesting past, but he is so well supported in the business. You know, everyone has got his back and wants him to do the best. In fact, this week he is doing his gas qualifications, and we have every expectation he's going to be passing that, flying it with flying colours. He's actually doing that earlier than in programmed.
Wow.
Because of how much he's come along and the support he gets.
And this is it, isn't it? It's just truly opening doors for people.
Yeah.
Is next level, and that's what's exciting about running a business. Is all of a sudden you're doing your passion of making sure that people's homes are safe and the gas and actually they're not paying twice.
Yeah.
They pay once and it's done, and that's what needs to happen. But now that next passion of opening up doorways for Pete and future apprentices to go, you can do this, and they're going to learn your ethos and your values.
Yes.
And that the fact that that's just ripples and continues is really exciting for the future of the industry.
Yeah, I'd like to think so.
Incredible.
I'd like to think that I'm creating some sort of legacy in what I'm doing.
That's the word, isn't it? That legacy. And that's not an ego thing. It's genuinely I just want this world to do well.
Yeah.
It's phenomenal. You've given us. Sorry, I've taken lots of advice and guidance from you, but you've given the audience some incredible tips and things. Have you got one last one to leave us with that you think?
One last one to leave you with. When checking your radiators to make sure they're heating up properly, don't just check the top of it.
Okay.
So a lot of people, when you go and check a radiator to make sure it's warming up, they touch the top and they go, "Oh yeah, it's warming up fine, it's fine." Don't do that. Take the back of your hand, because your back of your hand is a little bit more sensitive. Run it down the whole height of the radiator and across the bottom. Because if you've got a sludge build up or a problem with circulation, you'll find that the bottom is very, very cold and that the top is very, very hot. And that then creates a really inefficient radiator when it's like that. You'll be cutting out half the heat.
Wow.
So it's a simple check. When your heating's on, just run your hand over the whole panel of the radiator, including the bottom, see what that temperature changes.
Incredible. Dave, I know what I'm going back home to do when I get I was like, come on, let's go check all the radiators, turn the heating on. It's been amazing getting to chat to you. Thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you.
And I'm really excited. We're going to put all your contact details, all the links will be in the description and show notes below. So please go and join the club.
Oh, yeah, that's it. Join that club.
Probably shouldn't sing the song. I'll be edited now. But yeah, go and have a look. Go and find out and get in touch. Really, if they've got a question, the best thing is to just reach out and find out. Right?
Absolutely.
Thank you very much.
Brilliant. Thank you.
If you've enjoyed this episode and you're a Kent-based business owner with a story to share, we'd love to hear from you. You can find out how to be a guest on the Kent Business Show using the link below. Be seen, be heard, be unforgettable.